No escape from the reality.
And we are stuck or we are caught in the simulator.
Okay, let's start.
Yes, it's kind of a hard thing to face because everything we try to do is actually just part of the simulator, and we're only reason that I'm talking about it is because it has to do with sharing the recognition of the simulator, which is like a replicant or a repetition of reality that's being is programmed. It's the programmed hologram, hypnographic projection, and it's incestuous and incessant. That means it never stops. It's always going on. As long as we are, at least for this time, we're all accepting it. Everybody accepts it as reality, even though they don't recognize its simulated respect. The replication of reality, and part of that is because what we want to do is get truthfully in front of it. We want to be ahead of it, not behind it.
Can you record it, please?
I started it, yeah.
Can you record it? I
am recording it.
Okay, let's start right now because I want to upload on my YouTube channel. That's interesting conversation. I mean,
I am recording it.
Yeah, let's go.
Because and it's all relevant and referenced, to what's real. And at the same time, all of that's things you said, like, are we bothering them? The alienation and its operations. So, well, yeah, sure. And at the same time, it's not affecting them at all. And in that sense, we can't say that we're antagonizing. If you're experiencing that antagonism, it's because that's a natural echo effect that comes back on us, not because we're being antagonistic, but because what we're talking or what we're related to is antagonistic to those that are bothered by it, and or the people around us. And even with making the new You song, antagonizes those who are not willing to accept it or reference with it and to understand and be with it. That is, they're not in, because they're part of that is they're not in the now. They're not in the new now. They're in the echo, which is the effect, which is the simulated, replicated, duplicated reality of the human consciousness that has adopted or been forced to adopt. It doesn't matter which one, whether we've been forced or it's been forced, we've accepted the force of it. And because it's all the same thing, it's there, it's existing. As long as we agree to it, it will continue. And if we acknowledge it as something that's real, rather than perhaps just not paying attention to it, it would be like, why should we talk about the business, corporate manipulation of the economics and the natural environment resources and supply of food and medicines and or other products, even more so products that nobody needs, etc. And if we continue talking about that, that's all we're doing is then talking about that instead of just why bother? We don't need to pay attention to that. None of those things are really valid or real directly to our true being and our physical life even. So that's the question, what acknowledgments do you make, and then where are we at to say, okay, well, I'm in the now, so if I start to play the guitar, I'm in the now. I don't have to play an old song. I don't have to do anything that sounds like anything that was old or at the same time, I could do something that was old in a new way. So as an example, I made a video of a song where I played electric. Actually, I've done two songs. They're famous songs, Somewhere Over the Rainbow and Amazing Grace. I did on electric guitar. Just solo, no words, lyrics, just the sound. And because in a way that was my idea of it's not replicating, it's not continuing an old idea, even though it's an old song. I'm presenting it, and this is a way. As an example, Jimi Hendrix played New You, the Star Spangled Banner, and he did it on electric guitar in front of a million people, and he just played it solo with the sound, and he played improvisational, totally free verse. And that's an interesting thing to do. So I did that with this same thing with Amazing Grace. If you hold on a minute, I might be able to play it here, but I've got to get up away from the talking. So let's see. You see, the idea is still that we're not trying to repeat what was done before. The spiritual groups use the song Amazing Grace, and they are using it for that reflection on the old religions, religious teaching and idea, which is fine. It has nothing to do with the judgment or evaluation. So if I'm doing Amazing Grace with electric guitar, which I haven't actually heard, I've only heard Jeff Beck did one version, which is very slow, and I will mention what it sounds like because the funny thing about it is that this sound idea is, it's like, is it real because you're doing this old song, or you just, even if you're doing it uniquely and strangely, is it just actually just a replication of the original, and therefore it really won't reach people in the new now, in the moment, that is, in the real. It won't help them reach the real, because except for the part where they're seeing that the song is being done differently. So when Jimi Hendrix did Star Spangled Banner, the American anthem, his version was opening everybody up to the now moment, not going back into the past to honor America, but to live in and expressed the real freedom in the now moment, which had nothing to do with America itself at all. And yet, of course, it was interpreted in a number of different ways, including these two ways I just said. One was it is an honor to America, and others thought it was a dishonor to America. And they thought he was being disrespectful because, well, my view there is they don't want to come up to the present. They don't want to go with the new movement that was happening when that song was recorded in 1970 and actually represented the new movement that was coming in or wanting to be the new now that was trying to be presented to everybody in 1970, 52 years ago now. That's what the whole movement of the rock music in that period of time, and also the freedom movement that was about for women and minorities and nations, states and sex, all of that was wanting to be looked at in a new way, was wanting to be presented in a free openness instead of judgment and controlled idea, tradition. And that was the whole meaning there. That's exactly what happened. So I wrote this Pan Eagle song, Amazing Grace. I'm going to try and put it on here right now. And it's pretty good. Tell me if you can hear this.
Okay.
Can you hear it? The guitar?
Yeah.
How's it sound? How's it sound? Sound loud enough?
It's okay. I heard them. Where's the music? Or play it. Hello?
Yeah, what?
Why you?
It's Amazing Grace.
Let's play it. Don't silent. You can play it. I will first. I will listen. Where's your sound? Nothing to hear. Nothing to hear. Where are you? Hello?
I'm listening.
A viral song, you know, like Amazing Grace. Na, 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 na.
Yeah. I know
You
the
covered
song.
that.
That's it. All right.
Why you take the title of your song made your own song?
Because it's easy to copy, and secondly, because it was used in the old religious group as inspirational, and also it expresses, it was called Amazing Hue by the Eckankar-ish group, and they changed the lyrics a little bit, and use that sound word, but the hue. But the thing is, you see, we've advanced beyond that, and what we're trying to say is It's the same thing when you were listening to, when we both tried to play the song on this video now, we didn't hear it. We can't hear it when we play it to each other. We played it, you played it on your computer, I played it on mine, we heard nothing. Now, the funny thing about that is it's an idea, it's a metaphor that is saying, you know what, we did hear the sound. It didn't matter that we could hear the audio track. What mattered was, what we really were listening to was really paying attention and listening within our real being to the new song, the sound current too. You see, all of those things, we hear them all the time. It doesn't matter if we actually hear a song, someone singing New You, or someone copying a person singing You, or Amazing Grace, or any piece of music, or anything else. The real thing isn't a sound that we hear. It's a beingness, it's an isness that is always. And that is what we're hearing. That is what we really know. All we have to do is keep on that recognition of the all is. You don't have to do music, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything, you don't have to share it. The goodness in sharing it is obviously not so that we can learn how to play a song or hear how to play music or to even grasp an idea. It's to recognize instead, really, truly, right now, the new reality, the now of the isness. At the moment, the new you seems to be the high channel, we'll say, if you have to use a reference. You know, it's the high sound, the high voice, the great voice, the great business. Okay? That makes sense, yes? Yeah. I sent you on the screen, I sent you a blue background, yellow hand, thumbs up. Did you see that?
Where's?
On the screen. Nope, you didn't, because we're not sharing the screen here. We should be sharing the screen, but we're not. And what's your question?
Yeah. No, I'm not the question I want to share. We have to it's our colon, you know. The colon is the important thing, organ in our body that we are unaware of it.
Right. Cleanse the colon. It's also what we intake. And you need to, you know, we're doing the programs on the environment, natural environment, and the forest, and other discussions about solar and natural energy and algae. We just did one on algae with Val and Kevin, and that's all of these things. You need to, I'm suggesting watch those environmental shows, and there's a whole bunch of stuff there about different things. And the main thing is, or related to the foods that we take, is we have to understand that how they're producing the foods using the animal waste, and how the animals are fed, and how the soil is fed with nutrients and / chemicals, which is the problem, because they take the foods, the animals that have been fed by the chemicals, then they take the waste that the animals produce that have been fed by the chemicals, and the animal waste is then put it back into the soil, and they're basically creating soil that's sludge. That is a mixed soil that's undigestible materials and pesticides and all the rest of that. And they keep recycling it over and over. So the soil is getting more and more depleted, more and more unnatural. And this affects our digestive system.
Yes.
Drastically. So that we always have, or many people have a digestive discomfort. And these things also create all the ailments, stomach and ulcer and intestinal and the flus and all the rest of that, cancers, etc., created.
Yes.
And so you have to be very, very, much more careful. And yes, cleanse at the same time you clean out the parasites. And that's all part of that program. And so you have to understand that they want in this. The other thing is going back to the original idea of the simulation that we're in. And they want to replicate or duplicate continuously this same program and keep bringing it back, which is the same thing as like taking food from the soil, but then poisoning the soil, then having the animals and the humans that are digesting it, then taking their waste materials and putting it back. And recycling it would be just like recycling the old music and the old religion and the old ideas about what reality is, and constantly repeating it and then replicating it, duplicating it, making it go on into the next generations. And we're seeing this now increasingly where the next generations are almost as much, are continually being dumbed down. And eventually it becomes a quantum death. That is a depth of, it becomes, what happens to people is they end up, as an example, killing themselves because they can't stop the pains, or they have alcoholism, and we just had someone die from some form of alcoholism, killed himself accidentally, like that. And that's what happened to my best friend as well. With drugs, and because you're the same poisons keep getting recycled, and the same mental poison, and the same religious poison, and the same educational, economic mentality, nationalities, all of those things, and sex, gender. Identifications, and all of those things that people consider to be, largely a part of who they are, when most of that really has nothing really to do with any of who we really are as beings of light and naturalness. It doesn't matter what sex, race, nation, ideology, religion, personality we have. It's meaningless, essentially. But all the orientations are constantly pounded and repeated That's the simulator. That's the alien program. And the AI, which is also the artificial intelligence, which is now the media programming, is taking over at such a level through the phones, the media, communication, satellite, radiation. It's all radiation. Light is radiation. Sound is radiation. Everything has its vibratory rate, and how you are going to, you have to have a vibratory rate, and you have to have radiation, and all of that. But it's all a matter of identifying for yourself where you're at and what it is, and also then that leads to the next thing, which is usually what we're really talking about is discovering the new you, the new now, the new universes, the real universes, and sharing that, just like we're doing this right now, exactly, and giving this to others so that they can identify, not to have them stop doing living and stop music and stop making business or doing education or anything else, except for the point is, what reality are we going to be about? And where is the true reality of the real universe is, and the true reality life is? You, there's the gift and the music of making a song like Star Spangled Banner or Amazing Grace. That's where it comes from also, because yes, it was originally came as that, it was doing the same thing. It was bringing people into the present moment with something beautiful, let's say with the music, or sharing an educational idea, or sharing the sound in particular here. And yeah, so we're doing that with each other right now. Now it's time for us to, say, okay, I got it, and we're with it. I see it. It's not an agenda. It's not a program. It's not an educational tool. It's not a force feed. It's not a agenda, economic creation, and none of those things, except for what it is, being real. And that's what you want to. That's what we're saying. We're creating this Skype. New Ages Now, I call it, and I'll put this video on there. It'll be a very good one to try and share. And we talked about almost everything, the simulation, the tap lining, the health, environmental, and the spirit, the so-called, new sound, the new you, and that's it's the greatest of reaches across the universe and to where we are right now. We can't do any more than that, and what we just talked about, all of it. Yeah. Hearts and flowers. I mean, that's about it. Get some blue heart and a big hand, and anyway, so we'll record this. We recorded this, and we got clapping and smiles and everything else, and wowie zowie. I made some videos, again this week, so with the music. So you can go on my page through that link I put in the chat, and you can see some of the new stuff and whatever. You know what I mean? Take a look at some of them, and maybe you'll well, I don't want you to replicate what I did, but you could, find a way, whatever you get, to play along with something or to create something new yourself. And next time we'll talk about it and do it. What do you say?
Okay, let's close this. I won't have to go to sleep because
Yeah,
in this time 12 a.m.
right.
Yes.
And you remember the new you and watch your dream visions. I'll bet you can share one right tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, good. And Andrew, let's do new you, and we're cool.
New Glad to see you, sir. Thank you. Let's close the
You're welcome. Good one.
night.
Bye bye.